Hi, it's Sarah here from Thriving Solo. If you watched our last video on creating a smooth client intake process, then this is the logical next step where we dive deeper into designing the clinical intake forms that feel simple, safe and human. Your clinical intake forms are one of the very first impressions a new client has of your practice, and they matter more than a lot of practitioners realise. If your forms are too long or unclear, or they're packed with questions that don't really apply to the client, then they can feel overwhelming and even worse, off-putting. With a few thoughtful tweaks, they can actually help your clients feel welcomed right from the start, understood, and confident in your care. They can make the client feel already as though they're being listened to and asked thoughtful questions. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to design intake forms that feel simple, safe and supportive without compromising on what's legally or clinically needed. This guide is especially for solo health practitioners who want to spend less time chasing paperwork and more time doing what you do best, helping people feel better. Before we get into the checklist, I'm just going to go over a few common form mistakes so that you can skip the frustration right from the start. One of the common mistakes is asking for too much too soon. We don't have to do everything through that first questionnaire. We can follow up with more questions as we go along. We don't want to use medical jargon with lay clients. This was something that I was especially careful of because I had to deal with both Eastern medicine practice and be aware of Western medicine practice. And so I needed to make sure that the language that I used actually was something that my clients could understand from any perspective. Another one is forgetting to explain how the information is used. So if you're asking a lot of questions, then your clients want to know why you need that information. What are you going to do with it? And they want to know, are you just being nosy or do you really need to know that for their care? The final one is gathering the data via unsecure methods such as email or text. Before I updated my own clinical forms, one of my clients told me that she almost backed off from the whole booking because she wasn't sure why I needed so much information, and she wasn't sure that she could even remember the answers to some of the questions that I was asking. And that's when I realised that I'm risking losing business if I don't explain why each part matters and what to do if they can't remember. I was dealing with a lot of elderly clients, and it's not necessarily that they have got bad memories, it's just that things happened a long time ago, and so it's something that they don't always remember. I would get clients coming to me on the second or third appointment and saying, oh, I forgot to tell you that I had chickenpox when I was a child, for example. And so that's something that you need to take care of sort of at the start to make sure that they know that there's other opportunities for them to give you the information. So let's have a look at the different steps that we need to take in designing these forms to be as supportive as possible for both you and the client. So number one is to decide what you truly need. Now, you should only gather information for safety, legal or care reasons. This is necessary in the UK to meet data protection law, and there are similar legal restrictions elsewhere. So skip any just in case details that waste time or make forms feel endless. And skip any questions at this stage that don't apply to the majority of your clients. You can always pick up these details in your appointment with them, but if you're asking a question that is only going to apply to 20-30% of your clients, then you're wasting that question on all those others. The next thing is to choose a user-friendly format. So this is one of the ways that we need to use plain language. Ditch any medical jargon unless your clients expect it. If you're in a particular physical therapy where clients do expect some medical jargon, then I would still keep it to the minimum needed. I suggest offering online forms if possible, and if these can be filled out on phones or laptops, then even better. But it's good to be able to provide other examples as well. So if you've got somebody who can't access an online form, then having paper forms ready for them is definitely an advantage. And for in-person practices, you might want to consider a digital tablet or neat paper forms so that it's there ready for them at the time they need it. Explain every step, basically like you're talking to a friend. Give clear booking instructions. Tell clients why you need the information and how you're going to keep it safe. They need to know that that sensitive information is secure and it's not going to get out, it's not going to get left on a train, for example. And explain that if they can't remember a detail, they can say so or leave it blank, and then you can follow up with them later. So make sure that they know if it's okay to leave an area blank. If it is important that you get that information, usually name and address is pretty important and required, then make sure that that is a required field. But if it's something that is an area where they might have trouble remembering something, then don't make that a required field. And list what happens after they submit their forms so that they know what the next step is and what's going to happen with their data. Automate where you can. Try online booking tools that send automatic reminders and forms. I had my system and I could have set it up to automatically send out the forms if somebody booked their first appointment, but I usually like to just take a little look to see whether we'd already had any contact so that I could just add something into the email, but you make it as automated as you want. And save reusable email templates for bookings, follow-ups, and also for the gentle nudge if they've not submitted their clinical intake form before their appointment. Having an email template that just says, I see that we've got our appointment coming up, I haven't received your clinical intake form, please remember that we can't go ahead with this booking if I don't receive it in time. That can actually help reduce cancellations for you. Double check your privacy rules. Make sure that you're using encrypted programs for forms and records, and never gather health information via standard email or messaging apps. This could put you in some serious trouble, and it puts your client at some serious risk because their information wouldn't be safe and could be collected by somebody that you're not aware of, and you don't know how they're going to use that. If in doubt, ask your insurance or your local regulator for advice. Make sure that any of the forms and accompanying emails are personal and not robotic. Add a warm greeting and a short welcome to either the form or the accompanying email, and let clients know how to contact you with questions. I always made sure that they knew that if there was something on the form that they were having difficulty with, they weren't quite sure how to answer it, then they could contact me either via phone or just send me a text, the text to just let me know that they needed to speak rather than putting the details in there. And make sure that you revisit your intake forms and improve them regularly. Ask clients for some honest feedback. Did the forms make sense? Were any bits a bit too long? Were there areas that you had particular difficulty with? And then you can fine tune those intake forms as you grow, aiming for a good balance between comfort and having sufficient information. Getting your intake forms right saves time, it reduces cancellations, and it helps your clients feel safe before they ever walk in the room. It's a foundational piece of your practice and your systems. I've pulled all of the steps together into a simple printable checklist that you can download and start using right away. The link's just below. So thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to take a break for yourself at some time today.